Welcome back to another video. I finally got around to looking at my Arrow and WellGo Phantasm box sets, and I decided it might be interesting to do a side-by-side comparison since I have both, and then post my thoughts on it. So this is the first video where I'm going to cover the first Phantasm film. Of course, the Arrow release comes in this little case here, and then the WellGo. Here's your WellGo. Whoops! Oh no, can't do that. My little sphere. I actually like the the original artwork best, but I don't want to screw up the consistency of the artwork in the box set. And then I will do a comment about the Anchor Bay release because quite a bit of the features ported over. Phantasm is it's an iconic horror movie. You know, it came out in 1979. I got to see that in the theater as well, knock on wood. And it had a huge impact. It was nothing like anybody had ever seen before. And I really think that 79, 80, and 81 were the golden age, at least for people my age, the young 20 somethings that go into horror movies. That was just a great period of the introduction of a whole new uh, destiny for horror films. You know, Friday the 13th, Evil Dead, Halloween, and Phantasm was right there. It was just one of those films that uh, just had a huge impact. People couldn't figure it out. And I think even today, people are like, I don't really understand this movie. I think the movie's very simple, and there's a lot of clues uh, littered throughout the film that kind of they're to me they're like big beacons saying, look at me," that kind of say this is what the film about. Essentially, what the movie is about to me, and I'm assuming everyone has seen it endless times, so I'm not going to worry about spoilers on this. Uh, the film is basically about aliens taking over humans and turning them into slaves and using the funeral home as their operating room, if you will. So the storyline is Jody, along with his younger brother Mike and their buddy, the iconic Reggie Bannister, stumble upon this tall man in the funeral home, and the sinister goings on via the death of their brother Tommy. And what they discover at the end of the day is that the tall man and these dwarfs are taking humans, killing them, in some cases killing them, others they're already dead. But basically, what they're doing is they're taking them to an alternate dimension or another planet, uh, and using them as slave labor. That's basically what it is. And there's a lot of, as I said, there's a lot of clues that I've started to pick up in this thing uh, that make the storyline pretty explicit. I'll give you a couple. First off, you know, if you noticed in Mike's room, there's a floor to ceiling picture of the Earth as witnessed. The point of view is from what appears to be the moon, but you're seeing the Earth. Well, that's obviously an image that indicates that we're dealing with an extraterrestrial or an outer space or uh, force that is perpetuating all these murders and kidnappings. Then, if you look at on Mike's little work desk, there's a book standing up there that says "I am Legion," which indicates again we're dealing with a supernatural or even a devilish evil spirit bent on conquest. The film is there's some other things that I'll point out that kind of strike me now after watching it maybe for the 50th time. I mean, uh, these are just things that I'm assuming everyone has seen the film, so I'm just going to talk about some of the things that hit me on the upteenth viewing. The one, like, what was the deal? So the first one is, what is the deal with the girl at the beginning when she's killing Tommy? She's already showing off her breasts. You know, she's basically half naked. Why does she cover one breast with her left hand before as she's now obviously she's got a knife in one hand, but she chooses to cover her breast with her left hand. I mean, why? I mean, you've seen her breast. You're looking at the right one anyway. So I don't know what the I'm not. I just found that kind of odd that she's kind of got this pose. Uh, the musical scores is something that I think doesn't get talked about a lot with Phantasm, but it really should be recognized as an iconic score, as iconic as Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween score. That musical score was fantastic. It propels the film, analogous to Halloween, and in its own right, it's one of those scores that sticks with you. It really, you know, without that score, the Phantasm would not be Phantasm. Of course, you can't get away from this movie without talking about the CUDA 440 muscle car. I mean, it's almost a character in and of itself in this film. I love that. More of a Dodge Charger, Daytona Dodge Charger guy, but still, man, that CUDA 440 is an awesome piece of machinery. The spheres that drill into your forehead when we first saw that in the theaters, uh, as I said, or you know, it just had such an impact. No one had seen that before. It was fantastic. Great characterizations. That's the other thing besides the music that propelled this thing. Yeah, you got iconic characters. You got Angus Grimm. You've got the Spheres, but you know Reggie Bannister and even Mike and Jody. I think all those guys were tremendous in this film, and they're believable. They come at this very honestly, and you know you feel like you're just part of this little group trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Um, what else have I got? Well, there's some negatives. I think the mosquitoes that were flying around in Jody's house. I guess that's Jody's house or townhouse. That those look pretty bad now in retrospect. I mean, I don't think they look very good. They didn't look all that good back in '79. Uh, I realize now that when Reggie's killed in front of the uh, funeral home, you know, it's obviously just a dream. It gets explained away as a dream by Mike, but still, it's a little bit here or that's a little bothersome to me. To pull that stunt and kill off Reggie, and then oh, it was just a dream, you know. But I get it. I get it. Uh, yeah. So those are the things that kind of leapt out at me on this multiple viewings. Now let me do the side by side comparison. So I watched the Arrow release and the WellGo release really under the same conditions. I watched them. Uh, I've got a 75-inch Samsung 3D TV, um, and I listened to I decided I would listen to both films, the 5.1 DTS mono track. So both got treated the same. Uh, when you start it, you've got the menu. Let's just starting with the menu. The menu, I think, I gotta give it to WellGo. The WellGo menu, when it comes up, you're introduced to the sphere flying around through the funeral home, and of course you got the menu options at the bottom. I thought that was fantastic. The Arrow is much more vanilla, so from a menu standpoint, I think WellGo gets it. Both films have a very early release of the Angus Grimm doing an intro. It's the same intro for both, so that's a dead heat. Picture quality. I know there's some people who probably may disagree with me on this, uh, but I watched it under the same conditions, same TV. I don't see a whole lot of difference in picture quality. I think both are pristine. I think they look great. I give both versions a 10 out of 10. I mean, there's not a I can't. I mean, I'm not that big a techie or that kind of thing, but I mean, I saw no speckling. The colors stand out. I mean, I just don't see any. To me, you're almost splitting hairs to say one's better than the other from a picture quality perspective. I just don't see a big marginal difference between the two. I think both are a 10 out of 10. On the audio tracks, I've got a 7 out of 10. And maybe it's just because of the 5.1 mix, but at the 5.1 mix, I mean, let's face it, it was a movie made in 1979, so you're not going to get the separation of sounds you would normally get in a 5-channel setup. I mean, it's basically the same sound just running through all the speakers. Uh, but neither is better than the other. Okay, so I wasn't enamored with either one in terms of the sound quality. I give both a 7 out of 10. Uh, as far as the options on the audio, that's a different matter all in itself. The audio options for the Arrow release, you've got, of course, you've got the 5.1 DTS, and then you've got the mono option. You got the same options with the WellGo, except you've got a third option with the WellGo. The WellGo has a DTS 2.0 option. So there's 3 options with the WellGo from an audio perspective, 2 with Arrow. Now let's go with the special features. I think this is where the rubber's going to meet the road for me because I'm a big special feature person. When I'm trying to rate these things, I kind of emphasize that more so than whether I love the film or picture quality or sound quality. The special features are kind of my emphasis. So first off, you've got Reflections of Fear, which is a 30-minute series of interviews on the Arrow release. Those same interviews are on the WellGo. It's just called something different. It's just interviews. And in fact, I think most of those were ported over from this old Anchor Bay. So it's just a port over. The Arrow release has these audio premieres where there was a premiere of the remastered film at Austin, Texas, in Los Angeles. And then there's some interview footage, 30-minute Q&As on each one of those. So you got a 32-minute Q&A for the Austin, and you've got one for LA. And on the audio, you've got the option of listening to the film with the audience in Los Angeles. So that is a unique feature to the Arrow that was not on the Anchor Bay or on the WellGo. The 1979 TV interview with Angus and Don Costarelli is a port over from the Anchor Bay, but both have it. Behind the Scenes and Home Movies is a port over from the old Anchor Bay. The WellGo has it, and the Arrow has it. The Deleted Scenes is another port over from the Anchor Bay. And then you've got galleries and TV spots, those type of things. You've got one of the things that's unique to the WellGo is the Angus Grimm Fangoria Convention 10-minute interview. That is a port over, but it's not on the Arrow. Okay, it's on the WellGo. And then the big one for me anyway. The big one is there's a brand new audio commentary with the writer and director. Of course, that's Don Costarelli, and the producer, Paul Pepperman. That is not on the Arrow. So, in summary, after saying all that, uh, what are you getting here? This one has an audio commentary that this one doesn't have. This one has the watch it along with the audience audio commentary track, as well as two 30-minute Q&A sessions. So I think those are the big differences. And for me personally, which one do I prefer? The WellGo. I think the WellGo is the better option. Um, I couldn't care less about. I don't like to go to a movie and listen to crowd noise anyway. So watching it at home, listening to the crowd noise sucks just as bad as going to the theaters. So to me, that's not even a great feature. The only reason it's worth a damn at all is it's got the two 32-minute Q&As. Okay, that's pretty, that's material. I like that, but I can't say that that overcomes the fact that you got a brand new, fresh audio commentary track with the producer, which we've never had that before. So the victory goes to round one of the 5 film box set. Victory for the first film goes to WellGo. That is my thoughts on Phantasm. I will be looking at 2 through Ravager over the next couple weeks. We've got, of course, the 100 horror films in 31 days coming up, so you're gonna see a lot of videos from me. But I will try to complete my review of the Phantasm boxes alongside of those videos as well. So I hope that was helpful and beneficial, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.